Okay, good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, so may I call on Claudine to lead us a short prayer first before we start our class for today.
The name of Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father in heaven, holy be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Do not bring us to test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Claudine. You may take your seat. Okay, so before we proceed on our discussion, just like before, we are going first to meet, spell me, and I'll save you box as my way of checking your attendance. So our category for today is still about the different types of phobia. So first, may I call on Lady to spell this word. Okay, so this phobia is the fear of being alone. It is called autophobia.
Autophobia.
Okay, so that is correct. How about Kim? Okay, so this word is the fear of bacteria. Fear of bacteria. So the word is bacteriophobia.
Bacteriophobia.
Okay, very good. How about Russell? This is the fear of thunder and lightning. It's called astrophobia.
Astraphobia.
Okay, very good. And lastly, Claudine, this is the fear of books. It's called bibliophobia.
Bibliophobia.
Okay, very good. So you've got you've spelled the words correctly. Okay, so I remember that you have your assignment yesterday. So let's check first your assignment before we proceed on our discussion for today. Okay, so lady, would you mind identifying the general statement and the specific statement in your assignment?
Ma'am, the general statement is weathering and erosion are very slow process, and the specific statements are geologists believe that Colorado River has been flowing through the Grand Canyon for at least 17 million years, and it has been gradually shaping the canyon this entire time. The flowing water of the river and tributaries has carved away at the rocks of the Colorado Plateau, creating the amazing sight that is seen nowadays.
Okay, so that is correct. So I think you've got all the answers correctly because you've understand our topic yesterday. So before we proceed in our topic for today, may I call on Razel to give us a recap about our discussion yesterday.
Our last topic is about general statement and the specific statement.
Okay, so Kim, would you mind telling us the definition of general and specific statement?
General statement is the main idea. Specific
Statement.
statement is supporting idea.
Okay, so that is correct. The general statement is the main idea. On the other hand, the specific statement is the supporting ideas. Knows the definition of supporting ideas.
Ma'am,
Okay, lady?
supporting evidence is a small ideas that reinforce the main idea.
Okay, so That is correct. So, this is just a recall of our topic yesterday. So, the supporting evidence are the small ideas that reinforce the main idea or the general statement. So, yesterday we discussed about the difference of the two. And for today, we are going to discuss on how we cite or how we find evidence from a text or a statement. So, who wants to read the first one? Okay, Razel?
Read the paragraph and
Identify.
identify the general statement or main idea.
Okay, so that's the first tips in finding the evidence in a text or statement. The first thing is to find the general statement. So, I have here an example. Claudine, would you mind reading it?
The sky was a clear blue across which fleecy clouds floated around as was a stretch of sand shimmering in the
Shimmering.
clear sunlight. On our faces and foreheads blowed the warm summer wind coming from the sea.
Okay, thank you, Claudine. So, our first tip is to find the general statement or the main idea. So, who wants to tell us the main idea in this statement? Okay, find out the general statement or the main idea here.
Ma'am,
Okay, lady?
the general statement is the sky was a clear blue across which fleecy clouds floated.
Okay, so that is correct. In this statement, the general idea is the sky. Okay, so this is the general idea, which is the first tips in finding evidences. So the second one is, Kim, would you mind reading it?
Closely read the text and identify the specific statements that provide details to main.
Okay, so that is the second tips in finding the evidence, which is to find out the small ideas or the specific statements. So from this selection, what do you think are the specific statements? Russell, would you mind telling us?
The specific statement is around us was a stretch of sun, shimmering in the clear sunlight on our faces and foreheads blow the warm summer wind coming from the sea.
Okay, so that is correct. Those are the following supporting details about the sky. Okay, so the third tips is, lady, would you mind reading it?
Note facts, examples, descriptions, comparisons, contrasts, analogy, causes, and effects that are used to support the general statement.
Okay, so in identifying the supporting ideas, you just need to look at the additional descriptions or examples about the topic, just like in our given example. Okay, how about the fourth one? Okay, Claudine?
Analyze if the evidence or details are enough to support the general statement.
Okay, so that is one of the tips also in finding the evidence from a text or a statement. You need to analyze if the evidence are enough to tell us or para sabihin sa atin kung yung general statement ay tama siya. So you need to find out if those supporting ideas are complete. And lastly, okay, lady,
Use sentence or phrase starters to provide evidence. The authors wrote on page blank, it stated that.
okay, so these are some ways in finding out the supporting evidence. In order for you to find the supporting evidence, dapat makikita nyo yung itong mga to. The author's wrote, or we will discuss later on how you will cite or quote a sentence para maging isa siyang supporting evidence. Okay, so let's proceed in some ways that to cite an evidence. Who wants to read the first one? Okay, Kim?
Place in quotation. Place in
Quotation.
Quotation marks everything that comes directly from the text or statement.
Okay, so when we say quote it, you need to specify the person who said the idea. So I have here an example. One, you can quote it this way. John said, I really hate when it's hot outside. So, in-specify nyo kung sino yung nagsabi, which is John. And then another way of quoting a statement, John said he hated when it was hot outside. So, you still specify that it was told by John. Okay, so who wants to give me an example of quote it?
Russell said, I love eating ice cream.
Okay, that is an example of quoting a statement. How about Claudine?
Kim said she hates that.
Okay, very good. That is another way of quoting also a statement. So let's proceed on the second one. Who wants to read it? The definition of paraphrase. Okay, Russell?
Paraphrase it. Or state the idea in your own words.
Okay, so paraphrase it, ang ibig sabihin niyan, hindi nyo sasabihin yung exact word na sinabi ng author. Okay, so let me show you some example of paraphrasing a sentence. Okay, so this is an example of paraphrase. The exact word, he was saddened by the news. Or malungkot siya dahil sa balitang dumating. Pag pinaraphrase mo siya, the news depressed him. Okay, so pag nag-paraphrase kayo, you just need to find out the synonyms of some words at yun yung ipapalit ninyo. Gaya dito, he was saddened by the news. Yung saddened, pinalitan lang siya ng depressed to show that how we paraphrase a sentence. Okay, so I have here one example. He has tons of stuff to throw away. So who wants to tell paraphrase it?
Ma'am,
Okay, lady?
he needs to get rid a lot of junk.
Okay, so that's one of the way in paraphrasing it. He needs to throw away, what was that, lady? He needs to
Get rid, ma'am.
get rid of a lot of junk. So, pwede rin, he needs to throw a lot of personal things or stuff. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so lastly is cite it. Who wants to read it?
Ma'am,
Okay, lady?
give the source where you found your information. Not citing your source is a plagiarism.
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism. It is stealing because you are using another words or ideas without giving credit to the person.
Okay, so in citing, you can use the following APA way of citing a statement. So, kapag nag-cite kayo, you just need to follow this. Author's last name plus year of publication. This is the example. The author, field, and then the year of publication, which is published last 2005. Pwede rin, Fraser 2011. This is how you cite a statement from an author or a book. Pwede rin, we also have the other way, author's last name plus year of publication plus the page. Page kung saan nyo makikita yung statement na yon or yung ideas na yon. Magiging ganito na siya. Field 2005 page 14. Just like on the other one. Fraser 2011 page 16. It is very important for us to cite the ideas that we found out in a books in order for us to avoid plagiarism. So what do you think is the meaning of plagiarism? Okay. Plagiarism, in another word, ito yung kumukuha tayo ng ideas na hindi natin sinasabi kung kanino yun galing. It is also called stealing or pagnanakaw ng ideas. Hindi siya bagay, we didn't steal a thing or a stuff, but we steal another person's opinion. Yun yung example of citing. Okay, so do you have any question about the ways in finding the evidence in a sentence?
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, let's proceed in your activity. Huh? Okay, so who wants to read the meaning, the direction, of our activity?
Ma'am,
Okay, go on, lady.
read the paragraph on juvenile delinquency and answer the questions that follow. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper.
Okay, so these are the questions in your activity. Okay, so 3 questions lang siya. So I'll give you only 10 minutes to answer these following questions. Okay. No, this is the question. You'll base your answer here. Okay, so I'll give you 10 minutes to answer the following. Okay, so your 10 minutes starts now. Okay, so if you're done, pens up. Pens up. If you're done, then let's check your activity. Okay, so I think you are all done in your activity for today. So, who wants to answer the question number 1? Okay, lady, read first the question before telling us the answer.
What is the general statement presented in the passage? Ma'am, the general statement is the juvenile delinquency.
Okay, so the topic or the main topic in this passage is about the juvenile delinquency. How about the second question? What specific pieces of evidence are presented to support the general idea? So yung general idea natin is about juvenile delinquency. So what are the supporting evidences or specific pieces of evidence that are provided in the passage?
Ma'am,
Okay, lady. Okay, go on, lady.
juvenile delinquency refers to the antisocial act or behavior which is against the norm, culture, customs, and regulations of the society and is committed by the youth Guevara and Bautista 2008.
Okay, so juvenile delinquency is given a definition by Guevara and Bautista. How about the other pieces of evidence presented? Okay, Claudine?
According to Villanueva 2006, juvenile delinquency is a major problem that a society suffers from and will continue to suffer until there is a significant social and economic change taking place.
Okay, very good. How about arousal?
Mali 2009 emphasized that monitoring becomes increasingly important as children move into adolescence and spend less time under the direct supervision and parents or other adults and more time with peers.
Okay, so the following are the supporting evidences given to support our main idea, which is about the juvenile delinquency. So let's proceed in the question number 3. So how does the writer support the general statement? Yes, lady?
Ma'am, by providing ideas from different authors.
Okay, yes. The writers presented different meaning of juvenile delinquency to support our general idea. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so before we proceed on your short quiz, what have you learned for today?
It is important to cite evidence.
Okay, so Claudine learned that it is very important to cite an evidence. So, what do you think is the importance of citing evidences? Or do you think it is very important to cite evidence?
Ma'am,
Okay, lady?
yes, ma'am, to avoid plagiarism.
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 Okay, very good. It is for us to avoid plagiarism. How about the others? It is okay, Razel?
Citing is important to prove that the idea.
Okay, so citing is important to prove that the idea is legit or acceptable. How about Kim?
Yes, ma'am, to acknowledge the owner of the idea.
Okay, so it is also important to cite the evidence to acknowledge the owner or the writer of the idea. So let's now proceed in your quiz. So, Razel, would you mind reading the directions?
Directions. Read the pass.
Okay,
Read
stop
the
laughing.
passage below the answer. The question that follow, write your answer on a whole sheet of paper.
Okay, so this is the passage about Alexander Graham Bell, and these are the following questions that you are going to answer. Yes. Okay, so you are given 10 minutes to do your quiz or short quiz.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, go on. Okay, so if you're done, pens up. Okay, so let's wait for Razel and Kim. Okay, Razel is done. Okay, so you still have 3 minutes, Kim, to finish or finalize your answer. Okay, so you're all done with your quiz. So let's check if you really read and understand the story of Alexander Graham Bell. So who wants to read the question number 1 and tell us your answer? Okay, Kim? Read first the question.
Highlight the reason why Alexander Graham Bell started to study science.
Okay.
According to the text, Alexander Graham Bell started to study sound because his mother and wife are Jews.
Okay, so Alexander Graham Bell started to study sound because his mother and his husband are deaf or bingi. So if you have the same answer as to Kim's answer, your answer is correct. How about the second one? Okay, Claudine?
Highlight the sentence that define this. After reading the passage on paragraph, now I know the definition of gift is not having the ability to hear sound.
Okay, so the definition of deaf is the ability of not hearing sounds. Okay, how about the last question? Okay, lady?
In what ways did the invention of the telephone change the world?
Okay.
Based on what I read, I found that through the use of phone, people with disabilities can communicate normally by sending voice signal through a wire.
Okay, that is correct. So, who got the perfect score?
Mom.
Okay, so very good. I think you've understand the story of Alexander Graham Bell about the invention of telephone. Okay, so for your assignment, please read it. Okay, Claudine?
Direction. Through a Venn diagram, different shape, fact, and opinion. Write it on a sheet of paper.
Okay, so that is your assignment that we will check for tomorrow's meeting. Do you understand, class?
Mom.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so if you don't have any question,
Nothing.
okay, so since you don't have any question, let's call it a day. Goodbye, class.
ma'am. Goodbye.